Hey everybody, Larry, Mike, and Wes with another edition of Three Things coming direct to you from my kitchen table. Welcome, gentlemen. Wes, you are up.
Larry, I want to talk a little bit about Billy Turner and some of the things that the Packers starting right guard is up to. Had a chance to catch up with him over the weekend. He's doing some pretty cool stuff right now in St. Paul. Obviously, he's trying to get ready for the season, doing whatever he can to train. But in his downtime, he really enjoys fashion and design, and he had some big plans for this offseason of how he was going to roll out with some of his work. But obviously, the COVID-19 situation has changed all that. So instead, he's kind of focused his foundation, the Kind Energy Foundation, into raising money for medical personnel with PPE, supply them with that, and then also helping out families in need. It's such a neat time to see these different types of athletes step up in their own different way to be able to give back. And in Billy's case, they're selling t-shirts, they're accepting donations, they're doing everything they can right now to be able to help out some people.
Very cool. And Mike, what is your thing today?
Well, last week, Larry, I talked about how the Packers' NFC North opponents might be targeting some defensive backs, particularly corners in this draft. So what kind of draft capital do they have to address those needs? And it's kind of a mixed bag. The Chicago Bears are still dealing with, or still paying for, I should say, Khalil Mack from that trade they made a couple of years ago. Chicago does not have a first-round pick. They don't have a third-round pick. They have 2 picks in the second round, and then actually not another pick until the 5th round. So the Bears are a little thin in terms of their draft capital. The Lions, they have the number 3 overall pick, and there are reports out there that they're listening to trade offers to possibly trade down. So Detroit might end up with a couple of first-round picks ahead of the Packers at number 30. And the Minnesota Vikings already have a couple of first-round picks ahead of the Packers. They picked up an extra one from the trade of Stephon Diggs, the wide receiver, to the Buffalo Bills. So a lot of real intrigue in terms of what draft picks these NFC North teams have before the Packers will be on the clock at number 30.
Guys, during this time, I've spent the last week or so looking at video of our free agent signings, and I'm talking about Christian Kirksey, Rick Wagner, Kevin Funches, and they all have something in common. They have all stood the test of time in the NFL, and by that I mean they have been starters week in and week out for multiple seasons, and that speaks volumes. Because if you're the guy week in and week out, every opponent can study you and study you to death, and they're looking for that weakness. And if you're out there on a weekly basis, they're not finding much. And also, when you become a starter, suddenly the personnel department for your team doesn't just quit. Their job is to find somebody better. So anybody who has started in the NFL over a period of seasons, hey, don't sell them short. They are pretty darn good football players, and that's what the Packers have acquired in those 3 fellas. Anything else for the good of the whole, guys?
Well, Larry, we're 1 week away from the NFL draft, 3 days. It's going to be a brave new world. It's going to happen in virtual reality. You're going to have Roger Goodell making picks from his basement. I can't, speaking for myself here, I'm very intrigued to see how this whole thing's going to play out.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and stay safe.